A very long time ago, I did a video where I talked about what I had seen at the time to be politically correct racism. And what I thought at that time was that there were certain groups of people that were using political correctness in order to be, well, out and out racists and to get away with it because they were doing it in the name of political correctness. So they were the good guys. At that time, I had thought this was just going to be some groups or some social things that this happened with. Never in my wildest nightmares did I think that we would get to a point where in the time span of a week, just 1 week, three separate things have happened that are just blatant racism, but are done so in the name of political correctness. I could not have imagined that the media would have devolved to this point. I don't know why I didn't, and I still don't want to believe it. In order to wrap my head around it, I've had to actually come up with a term for it just in general. And that's where the title of this video comes from. Politically correct New Age racism. Now, the first one that I saw and what kicked this off, and I thought that this was just pure stupidity. Oh, how naive I was. There was a game that was released called This Is the Police. What that game is basically visual novel meets management meets several minigames all rolled into one, where you are in charge of a corrupt police chief set in roughly the 80s in a town in an undisclosed country. You are supposed to last for 180 days in that to survive to the end with a certain amount in your bank account to roll into your retirement. I've given you the basic premise of the game and by and large the best descriptor of it. It's not a fantastic game, but it does what it's supposed to do. And it does it relatively well. A bit tedious towards the end, but relatively well. Now, the gaming media, on the other hand, absolutely lost their shit. All spearheaded by our friends at Kotaku. They basically said the game was racist and horrible, etc., largely because it did not go along with their political views. Very early in the game, it has segments where there are groups that want you to fire all of the black police. I will repeat that this is a game set in the 80s. But this was deemed offensive and racist by them because they have no understanding of history, it seems. I don't understand how they got, and this is the actual use of the term because this is what happened to them, triggered by this. It makes absolutely no fucking sense to me at all why this set them off. First of all, as I said, 80s. And second, this seems to be the bigger part, they're seeing this as though it's an American town, and they justify everything as though it's an American town. Oh, well, the game company was from Belarus, and they're just using that as a shield to hide behind, but we all obviously can tell this is America. That's pretty damn racist of you right there. So you're saying it's offensive to have anything bad related to black people or feminists or whatever other groups they are taking jabs at in this. By the way, they take jabs at pretty much everybody because this is a corrupt police chief. Everything is made to look bad in this. But also, it has to be America because, well, they're American, so it's got to be American. That's what it's got to be. I mean, the fact that it's made by a company from Belarus. Point to where Belarus is on the map, by the way. Try it. The fact that it's made by a company from Belarus, that doesn't mean jack shit. It's obviously America. Okay? Sure. Why not? You're fucking idiots. I thought that would be my week's worth of crazy, and I'd just talk about that. But no! The Verge decided to one-up me on that. Shortly after the release of these reviews, The Verge had one of the most mind-boggling articles I've ever seen, in which they discussed how a lot of portrayals of Asian people in gaming have been racist. Or, as they used in the article, Orientalism. And the examples that they used throughout the article were from companies like Sega and Capcom and Koei. You might see a problem there, don't you? They were saying that the portrayal in gaming of Asian people was racist from Asian companies. Okay? I would like a shot of whatever you're drinking, because it is some powerful shit, and I need that right now. What in the fuck is wrong with you people? And I don't care what you're going to say. Oh, well, you're missing the bigger picture. Or, oh, these were just examples. This isn't everything, etc., etc. When you're using Asian companies as ways of describing Orientalism against Asian people, you fucking fail. Your entire topic has lost all sense. What if I was to use examples of game companies being racist against Swedish people, for example, and then I use Paradox Interactive as an example in that? You know, people would call me stupid for that because Paradox is a Swedish company! I don't care how you justify it. I don't understand how you ever could, but I don't care, because when you do that, you lose all merit to your points. There may have been something in there worth discussing, but the way you brought it, if you can't find any examples done by Western studios and you're having to use examples from Asian studios to show how companies are racist against Asians, rework that a bit. Come back when you have other examples. Because what you're saying is no country can stereotype itself. How little do you think of people that they can't even handle jokes about themselves? Really. But that wasn't the worst. I've saved the best for last, and I will actually have a link down to this one in the description, because this one you have to see to believe. I read this, and it got to the point where my brain just shut down for about half an hour. It needed the break. It was either that or I go to the loony bin. To sum it up, there was a website that had a review of Sausage Party where they said the movie was good and they praised one particular character in that movie. And then they took that down. And this article is why they took that review down, which, to summarize, says it was a white reviewer who gave praise to a Latina taco, and that was racist. You need the few seconds of my silence there to try and come back to consciousness. I needed it too when I figured out what was going on here. It's racist for let's just pretend it's not a taco for a second. Let's say it's a Latina actress in general. You're saying it's racist for a white person in a review to praise a Latina actress. How is that not racist? How is you saying that not the racist thing? How the person giving praise to another person, that's racist. But you saying it's racist because different skin color, that's not racist at all. No, 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 no. What in the ever-loving fuck has gone on here? I read through this, and it really did hurt to get all the way through. It was painful. And yet, there are so many people that are in complete agreement with this. And it makes me question society. When did we go off the deep end? And when did this become acceptable? Not only acceptable, but when does it become a good thing? This would be like if me, as a random idiot white guy, were to give praise to, off the top of my head, Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction. That'd be deemed as racist because, well, he's a black guy and I'm a white guy, so obviously that's racist. How? How? Explain this to me. How is this bad? What the fuck is wrong with people? How has our media gone this fucking screwy? Never have I seen so much self-hatred from the media. It's almost laughable if it weren't so fucking sad that this is the norm. I don't get it anymore. I really don't. Someone needs to help explain this to me, because I'm at a loss for how we've gone this far off the deep end. I thought that stuff like this would only happen in social groups here and there. I didn't think it would be a direct infection to the media itself. And now I am absolutely scared that this is the norm. Once, maybe twice in a week, I could just pass off as the media being fucking stupid. 3 different events over 3 different things in the time span of a week, that's leading me to believe that the media has lost it and that this is their normal thought process, which scares the ever-loving crap out of me. I just don't know what to think anymore. This is mind-boggling how this is seen as acceptable and fine. But to most rational people, I would like to believe most rational people anyway, this would be out-and-out racism. It really is maddening. I just don't know anymore, and it's insane. I guess just tell me if I'm wrong or not. Tell me if I'm overthinking things. Please let me know if I'm being stupid here or if I'm overthinking this, because if I would love to be wrong here, and I would love for this just to be a weird coincidence that I saw in the week. But something tells me I'm not, and that this is the new norm, which again is fucking terrifying. Anyway, this has been Math Machine just ranting about how the media is openly racist and no one seems to give a fuck. What a glorious timeline we have truly entered. Peace out.